The statement on general rules compliance is that there really is only two things that will get a project disqualified. The first is obvious plagiarism. If this is the case, mark it on your notes and let me know about it, and the state director and myself will take care of that. If you suspect plagiarism, then let us know. The other thing that could disqualify a student would be interfering with or harming another student's project. It's been 10 years that I've been participating. I've heard of one incident, and that was just before I started. But if you see another student interfering with another person's project, please let me know, and I will take care of that. Every project except the paper will also have 3 necessary pieces of paperwork. Each project will have a title page, each project will have a process paper, and each project will have an annotated bibliography. The annotated bibliography is similar to a works cited page, but there's a little bit more that History Day will expect from that. The first is that the annotated bibliography will be separated by primary and secondary sources. Primary sources, objects created during the time period to let us know about the time period. Secondary sources are history. This is after the fact, so it's things that tell us about the past. The goal is to have roughly equally weighted between primary and secondary sources, but it doesn't have to be equal. Students must, in the annotations, explain how they use the source for the project and how to help them to understand the topic. It doesn't have to be long, it only has to be a sentence or two, but you can use the annotated bibliography as a tiebreaker if you think it's necessary. Again, it's not a works cited. Not all of the sources have to appear on the project, but they shouldn't be used as filler either. What you want to do is find a variety of sources. For example, not all websites, not all books, not all magazine articles. You should have a variety of types of sources, even within the separation between primary and secondary. One other thing to note, the focus of the project should not be within the last 20 years. This is a guideline more than a rule. We're at the point now where a 9/11 project might actually fall within an okay time period, though it's a little close. But what we want to be able to do is see change over time. So we want a project that is far enough in the past that we can see that the students are making connections to the present. That's one of the reasons why we want it to be further into the past. Also important to note, you might disagree with the conclusions of the project, but that's not an evaluation factor. So please don't confront participants during the meeting. We have a lot of students, for example, that will have projects based on the LGBTQ community. Your opinion on that is not part of the evaluation process. So be mindful of that, please. And also, just for your note, primary sources here and secondary sources, primary sources are of history, secondary sources are about history. And the process paper, I mentioned the process paper here. It is a maximum 500-word paper. Students will are asked to answer the question, how did they pick their topic? They are asked how they created their project. They'll also be asked how they did their research for the project. And then lastly, how it connects to the theme. So if you're having trouble trying to understand how their project connects to the theme, you can look at the process paper and it should be the last paragraph or so.